Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield 5 minutes from the fellow distinguished freshman from Illinois, Mr. Dold.
Gentleman from Illinois is recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm a small business owner. I own and operate a business. I employ just under 100 people. For me, that's 100 families. One of the reasons that I'm here today is that I decided that the government was making it harder and harder for me to put the key in the door and open up my business each and every day. And it should be quite the opposite. We need regulation. I'm going to agree with my colleagues on the other side. We need regulation, but it has to be smart regulation. H.R. 72 finally gives the American public, employees, consumers, businesses, and families a bright light at the end of what is a very dark and long regulatory tunnel. And while we agree that many regulations are there to safeguard the American public, this resolution will simply require that House committees review these government regulations. While doing so, each committee will identify each regulation's effects on jobs and economic growth, and more specifically to ask certain set of fundamental questions, including, will the proposed regulation impede private sector job creation? That is the #1 goal right now, is to try to create jobs. Will the proposed regulation discourage innovation and the entrepreneurial spirit? Will the proposed regulation harm economic growth and investment? Will it harm America's global competitiveness? Will the proposed regulation limit access to credit and to capital? Will it create economic uncertainty? Unfortunately, for years, many in the Congress and regulators have simply ignored these questions, with devastating results for job creation. Mr. Speaker, in our global marketplace, we must ask, analyze, and debate the questions contained in this resolution if we are serious about creating an environment where private sector jobs are created. Unfortunately, in the past, we had multiple massive bills with thousands of pages of legislative text written and jammed through the Congress without meaningful debate, without transparency, and without any opportunity for most members to actually read and to analyze the mountain of legislation, creating countless regulations, rules, studies, and commissions. How can we possibly expect businesses to invest scarce capital in new equipment, in new research, in development, in new product lines, in new marketing programs, maintaining existing jobs and new initiatives when our regulations are paralyzing businesses and entrepreneurs with tremendous amount of uncertainty? I hear back in our district all the time from those that are trying to create jobs. A good example of the regulatory environment is a small business in the 10th District back in Illinois, Learning Resources, whose sole mission is to provide better resources for teachers and students to learn more easily. Learning Resources has suffered, along with its current employees, I would argue potential employees and their families, because of undue burdensome regulations. Their regulatory compliance costs have increased 10 times, 1,000%, in just the last 5 years, even though the company has had not had any safety issues or any problems during that time or the years prior to. With unduly burdensome regulations, jobs have been lost. Business expansion opportunities have been cut short, employee benefits have been shaved, and consumer prices have been artificially inflated. The Small Business Administration estimates that a total regulatory compliance costs imposed on American businesses amounts to over $1.75 trillion each and every year. This is nearly twice as much as all individual income taxes collected each year. This takes away from productive investment and growth. We live, Mr. Speaker, in a global marketplace where businesses and capital are mobile, where businesses and jobs gravitate to where they are most welcome, where customers can easily choose to buy goods and services from businesses based anywhere in the world. We want those businesses and those jobs here in the United States. We want businesses to innovate. We want them to make sure they are welcome here in our borders. We have to create, however, an environment where they can grow and they can thrive. H.R. 72 is good for individuals, for families, for employees, businesses, It's good for our government and it's good for our nation. And I would respectfully urge for my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to support its passage. I yield back the balance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.